Okay, everybody, I'm back. Tales from the Pen, part 21. I'd like to thank everybody who supported me through this time. I'd like to thank everybody who's been there from day one and even the people who jumped on later. I appreciate all my subscribers. I appreciate everybody helping me get to where I'm at now. For those who are new to the channel, please go down and hit subscribe. Hit the notification button, click all, so every time I do a video, you'll know about it. Every time I'm on live, you'll know about it. For those who are new to my channel, my name is Fred. I'm from Queens. And what I do over here on this channel is talk about my prison experiences. My almost 16 years of jail experiences from Rikers Island to 9 different upstate penitentiaries. And what I do here on this channel is I don't do anything for the glorification purposes. I do it for people who need to understand that prison is not a game. I do it for the youth and the young people out here who think that prison is like a rite of passage. That's who I do this channel for. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about a few things. You guys know I like to freestyle. But first thing I want to talk about is that a few people have asked me, Fred, what's the difference between now jail and jail when you went to prison, when you went to jail? I went to jail at the end of the 80s, went upstate in 1990. You know, so I seen the end of the 80s, the 90s, and the early 2000s, all in the penitentiary. And the difference is that it was, you know, here's the thing. Everyone from their time will say their generation was the wildest, right? But I'm here to tell you that in my era, I do really honestly feel that it was the wildest. I feel back in the days on Rikers Island, it was a lot more dangerous than it is now. I feel that when I went to jail back then, things were different as far as like inmates ran the phone. Now you get a bracelet and you know, it's not the same. Back in my day, if you weren't willing to fight, if you weren't willing to cut, if you weren't willing to stab, then you couldn't touch the phone. You had to know somebody, something. Now it's a bit different. Everybody does it. Back in my day, you can wear your own clothes, your own watches, your own jewelry, your own sneakers. Everything was different. So people were getting robbed left and right. People were being abused left and right. Nowadays, it's a bit different. Not that it's not less abusive. Things do definitely happen. We understand that it's jail. But it's a lot safer in certain places. There's cameras now everywhere, so it's hard to get away with anything. In my era, it wasn't like that. It was a bit different. There was no cameras everywhere. There was nobody to save your ass if you went up in that bathroom and had to fight somebody or something like that. You was literally, in your mind, you better fight for your life because you don't know if you're coming out this bathroom. Nowadays, there's cameras everywhere and a lot of security, so it's a bit different. It's still rough. It's still gangster. It's still thugged out. But it's just a bit different. And anybody who went to prison back in the days will identify and shake their heads as they're watching it because they understand. It was different. It was a different time, different era, different group of people. Nowadays, you know what I feel changed a lot is the whole gang situation, right? I feel that with this gang infiltration that's going on in the penitentiary, because everybody's banging, it made it a little bit easier for certain people. Let me explain. It made it easier for some certain people because back in the days you were judged when you came through on who you were and if you could hold it down. And you were going to get tried and to see if you could hold it down. That's what the game was. That's what it was about. And if you couldn't hold your own, you was getting robbed. You was getting smacked. You was being called somebody's son. See, it's different now. Now you call people your son, that means like your boy. Oh, that's my son. That's my boy. That's my friend. It's like a term of endearment, right? In my day, it wasn't like that. When somebody called you son, that means they felt you was a sucker. You know what sons did? Sons used to wash clothes. Sons used to wash their daddy's dirty ass socks and underwear, put them in a bucket, laundry, little soap, and they would hand wash people's stuff. Those were sons. Sons were people who went to the commissary and gave up half their commissary to somebody else. That was sons back in my days. Sons couldn't get on the phone unless somebody else said, hey, go ahead, take the last 5 minutes of my time, call your family. Those were sons. Difference. Nowadays, like I said, with the gang life, you could just be a gang member. You could be a sucker gang member. Because let me tell you something, man. Not everybody who's in gang, does that gang shit is gangster, man. That's a fact. A lot of these dudes, turn because they soft. Not everybody. I'm saying some. So it become easier for when a dude comes through Rikers Island, and he sees somebody, what you about? Who are you? And they say they blood, or they say they crib, or they say the Latin King, or they say whatever they are. There's gonna be a other group there like them, so they're gonna fall in line right with them. More like like fall right in. Oh, you blood? Oh, okay, here. The homies over here. You go and you hang out with the homies. It's different. In my day, it wasn't like that. It was like, yo, where you from? And it was about boroughs. If you from Queens, you hung out with Queens dudes. But a lot of the beefs, a lot of the drama was borough shit, man. I'm telling you, it was crazy. The borough thing was nuts. Nowadays, again, it's probably some of that, but it's more the gang life, and it made it easier for the suckers to fall right in line. It made it easier for people to come in, say they're a certain set, and get with their people and hide, because really inside they soft. Really inside they suckers. A lot of guns made it like that too. There was always guns and there was always murders and killings, but a lot of guns, they give people heart. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guns gave suckers heart. So gangs and guns changed everything. But again, in the penitentiary, like I said, if you wasn't about that life, people would know about it. Nowadays, it's like, everybody falls under certain umbrellas. They feel untouchable. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it goes. It's a bit different nowadays. Cameras everywhere, security everywhere. So certain things that happened back in the days doesn't happen now. In the late 2000s and the rest, it didn't happen now. A lot of things have changed. But that gang life is serious. And if you out here, and if you banging, and if you go to the prison, guess what? You're going to have to bang there too. You're going to have to bang there too. And if you're young, and if you're vulnerable, you're going to be the one to have to pull out, to do stuff. You're going to be the one that has to stab people. You're going to be the one that has to kill people, cut people, whatever. You're going to be the one to do that. Not the OGs. The OGs going to sit back in their cell and just, make chess moves. It's a fact. So, this is the type of thing I try to get these messages out to the youth so they understand, man. Prison is not a game. In this time that we're going through right now, we're dealing with a lot of, trying to understand politics of the United States, man. The prison has its own politics, man. The prison has its own politics. And if you fall on the wrong side of the politics, man, you may die. This is a message I try to get across to the youth, to these young men out here, to these young ladies out here, because the ladies' penitentiary is just as wild as the men's. The ladies' penitentiaries is crazy just like the men. Maybe not as much stabbings and cuttings and killings, but the women go ham too. And this is not something you want to put yourself through. This is why I do what I do. This is why I put my life on these videos. This is why I tell my tale. So people understand, man. It's not a game. There's nothing cool about jail. You go to jail, you have to watch your back. I feel I'm a decent judge of character now. I feel that I'm a decent judge because I had to understand why anybody was even saying hello to me. And what was their reasoning for saying hello? Why did that guy say hi to me? And then your mind starts turning. And after so many years of thinking like this, you can never be the same. I came out of prison and I just was not the same. I mean, you can never be the same. Especially after doing so many years in the penitentiary. You can never come home and be the same. You can never come home and be the same person. You know, after so many years, you're supposed to come home and you're expected to be a different person. I was a different person in a different way. I was a different person in the sense that I didn't want to be around nobody. I hated crowds. I hated being around people. Because I seen that from where I came from, it's very few that are really true to the game and real. People are always looking for handouts, and people are always looking, for the next scheme. And you always just had to make sure that you were not the next scheme. This is why I do what I do. This is why I tell my stories on this channel. I do it so people can look me in my eyes and understand and see the real and understand the words that I'm coming out my mouth are for real. I went in one way and I came out another. Because in there I had to develop a certain type of mentality, certain type of attitude, a certain type of demeanor about me that has never left. Like I said, I have kids now. My kids have changed me. But a lot of my demeanor is still being institutionalized from institution. Facts. When I came home, you know how long it took me to stop showering in my underwear? Do you know how long it took me to wear slippers in my own house? Because in there, you can't wear slippers. Only time you wear slippers is actually in the shower. I don't care what kind of jail you in. When you see them dudes walking around in their slippers all comfortable, it was weird to me. Like, you too comfortable. You think something can't happen to your ass. No matter where I went, a medium secure, anywhere I was in, when I went to the shower, I went to the shower with my boots, dressed, went to the shower, and put my slippers on actually in the shower. As soon as I get out, wash up, dry up, and right back in my boots to go back to my cell, to back to my cube, whatever it was. You know how long it took me to break out of that habit? Years. You know how long it took me for me not to have my own soap every time I went to the shower? My family, the soap bar that's in there. Nah, I got to have my own bar of soap. I have to. It's embedded in me. These are the types of attitudes and behaviors that people don't talk about because I became institutionalized. I became a creature of habit. I was so used to it being one way. Even my demeanor-wise. Even when I came home originally. Like, you said something stupid, something bad may happen to you. Anybody that know me know that. And I still got that shit in me. It's hard to get it. It's hard for me to shake certain things. But I've grown. And I decided myself I wanted to change. Like I said, I'm a family man now and got kids, and I would never leave my kids, so I'm never going back to prison. But the institution taught me a bunch of things that were just hard to shake. Because you're taught and you see everybody, cutting each other. You see everybody stabbing each other. And you come to realize that you don't have too many friends. You come to realize that. You come to realize that, wait a minute, where are all my people that I was with in the streets? Why nobody's writing me? Why nobody sending me a few dollars for commissary? Why nobody sending me packages? Because it's out of sight, out of mind, man. As I say, people would rather put you on a t-shirt than to send you $20 in commissary. I ain't lying. I ain't making this stuff up, man. I came from a different world, man, where the rules were different, and I had to learn quick. Because I didn't want to be prey. So I developed a certain mentality about me that understood I'm not taking nothing from nobody. But it was hard to turn that switch off. Because again, I come from an era where you look at somebody wrong and you might get a knife in your neck. I come from an era where you step on somebody's shoes and you don't say, excuse me, you might die. I've seen it. I've seen people die. It's not a pretty sight. It's definitely not a pretty sight. That's the era I come from. I come from the era where you talk crazy to somebody and say something stupid, you get a mop ringer right across your fucking head. That's the era I come from. And this is why I put out what I need to put out to this youth, to this next generation, to the ones coming up now. This is why I always say, man, stay your ass in school. You don't want to see what I seen. Because I still have nightmares about what I seen. Still. I still have nightmares. I still hardly can sleep at night. I still hear screams. I still hear people banging on their gates all night. I still, see people blood dripping. I still see pencils out of people's eyes and necks. I still see it. It's hard for me to shake. And this is the part that a lot of people don't talk about, man. The afterlife. There is no afterlife, man. For me, sometimes I feel like, mentally I'm still in prison. So many things remind me of prison. It's just so hard. I've had people say, man, Fred, it's been so long time, man. Get over it. And I want to smack them people because they don't understand. Because sometimes as humans, sometimes as people, we dwell on some of the negative things that have happened to us in life. It's hard to shake something so traumatic, something bad and something traumatic that happened to you. It's hard. And that's the message I'm trying to get across here. That's the message I want people to understand. It's hard. And I don't know if it'll ever get easier. This is therapeutic for me talking to you guys, letting everybody understand that shit is not a game. And I know there's been times where people didn't understand me. Or people would be like, Fred, let it go. Don't worry about it. Nah, I ain't letting nothing go. Because in prison, you can't let nothing go. In prison, if somebody says something to you in a negative way, You better handle your business. You know why? Because other people are watching. And when the lions come circling, when the lions surround you, it's too late. You ain't getting away. There's no hyenas to come save you. There's no hyenas to come save you. Nobody can save you when the lions come circling. So you better answer every call. You better take care of everything that needs to be handled, or you're going to be, or you're going to be a victim. I hated living like that, but as a mentality, I dealt with it, and that's just the way it goes. This is why I do what I do. So people don't have to suffer as I did, as I still do. I'm not ashamed to tell you guys and pour my life out to you guys. I'm not ashamed to tell you. Sometimes I still suffer for the sins of the past. But I believe it was, I was chosen. I believe it was my destiny to go through what I went through so I could give the next generation a message, a positive message. Stay in school. Stay away from the gang life. And just be good people. Everything else will fall in line. Make good decisions. When you make bad decisions, you're dealt with bad consequences. When you make negative choices, you're going to get negative consequences. This is a fact. This is coming from somebody who did it, who lived it, who was in the streets, who loved my hood, who rep my hood, who bled for my hood, and eventually took a life from my hood. A hood that didn't give a shit about me. A hood that kept on moving when I left. And there's so many lost people out there right now who were just like me, who love their hoods, who will rep their hoods, and will do 25 to life for their hoods. The hood don't love you, man. The hood don't love you. You ready to do 25 to life for your boy, for your homie? A homie that don't give a fuck about you? You ready to do the rest of your life in prison for your hood? That's going to keep on moving when your ass is in jail? When them doors close on you? Don't make sense. That same time and energy you putting into your hood, get a job, man. Get yourself a job, man. Support your family. That's gangster to me. Running around, you run around shooting people, that's not gangster to me. I've seen it my whole life. That's nothing. What's that? Get a job. Get a 9 to 5, gangster. Support your family, gangster. That's gangster to me. Being out here for your loved ones. That's gangster to me. You repping the hood and said that shit's not gangster to me, man. That shit's not gangster to me. Because all you're doing is heading down a negative path. A path that has two choices. Death or jail. There's no in between. There's no in between. Death or jail. Pick one. Where if you go to school and do the right thing, you have different choices. Open up your horizons, people. To these kids. Please listen to my plea. Listen to the pain in my voice. It's not a game. I'm not an actor, and I don't play a convict on television. Despite the Michael Rappaport fucking comments. I don't know. But people who come from bad experiences, people who have pain in their voice, and they trying to get back, you need to listen. Because this pain is real. This pain is serious. Take it from experience. Prison is not a game, people. And on that note, you guys know my motto. Experience is the greatest teacher. But somebody else's experience could be just as valuable if you pay attention and listen. And on that note, people, Fred White, signing off.